chair calls Jeffrey Morgan, testifying in favor of House Bill 93. He's representing himself.
Thank you very much. My name is Jeffrey Morgan. I'm from Dallas, Texas. And I, like Christy, have been waiting for years to get up here and to speak on this issue. As I was coming down today, I met a couple of men in the elevator, and they asked me what I was here for. And I said I was here to testify for the repeal of no-fault divorce. And after a few moments, the one man looked at me and said, "What is no-fault divorce?" And I said, well, many people think that no-fault divorce is two people mutually agreeing to separate, go their own separate ways, and, everything's fine after that. The reality is that no-fault divorce, in about 80% of the cases, is unilateral divorce. One spouse does not want the divorce, and it is either imposed upon the spouse, forced upon them. It's divorce on demand, whatever you want to call it. It's not the idea of no fault. It's actually the idea of being unilateral. No-fault divorce, what is it really? It is a legal action. It is a legal action in which somebody is going to the state and saying, I want to take this action against my spouse. And the thing about the legal action is you're always guilty. You never have an opportunity to prove your innocence. And so I went through divorce about 4 years ago. My ex-wife filed for divorce. And she told her attorney, that was actually 5 years ago, she told her attorney, she said, I'm responsible for this mess. My husband is one of the best men out there. When I sat with him, you know what he told me? You're getting a divorce and there's nothing you can do about it. And that was all there was to it. So no matter how much money I wanted to spend or whatever to fight it, there was nothing I was going to do about it. There was nothing I could do about it. My ex-wife herself, up until the day that we went to trial or to see the judge, was unsure that she was doing the right thing. But once the process gets going, it takes on a life of its own. And so as Christy mentioned, I had a judge who met me for probably 10 minutes, her testimony, and declared the dissolution of my marriage against the advice, against the recommendation of every person who knew us. When I think about the marriage contract or the marriage covenant, I think about there is an element of a contract there. And why is marriage the only contract that one person can unilaterally dissolve at will without any repercussions? If I wanted to try to dissolve a contract with my cell phone company, it's not that easy, but in marriage, you can get it done in 60 days. I was married for over 25 years, 83 days after my ex-wife filed for divorce. She had her divorce, and the reason it took 83 days was because the judge had vacation. It was around the 4th of July, so it got postponed a week or two. If we believe that marriage is a contract, we also tend to believe that it's a lifelong contract. I used to be a missionary in the Middle East. Now, in certain areas over there, they had what was called the temporary marriage. So you could get married for 3 days, you could get married for 5 days, whatever it was. And maybe that's what we should really say in the state of Texas. Maybe we should just have marriages that are just, they're going to be a one-year marriage. I don't think we would support that. The intent of marriage is to be a lifelong commitment, and yet we make it so easy to get out of the marriage for any reason or for no reason at all.
Mr. Morgan, can you wrap up your testimony?
Oh, I'm sure. People talked about the due process clause. The 5th and the 14th Amendments guarantee us due process. In marriage and divorce, we have no due process protections. And yet no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. That is completely ignored. The intent of no-fault divorce was not to make no-fault divorce on demand. It was actually, if you look back at what happened in California, to reduce divorce, to help couples keep them stay together. And I'm going to take one quick moment here. I'm sorry, I'm really quickly here. The effects of my children, the effects of me. I am a child of divorce as well. The effects were catastrophic. The effects on my children have been the same. When I hear people say, well, we need to talk about the best interest of the children, the best interest of the children in almost every instance is that the mother and the father stay together and that they be brought up in an intact family. Judith Wallerstein, she wrote The Unexpected Legacy of Divorce. It's a report of a 25-year study. And what she did with this control group, she took people that were the better of the people. I mean, they were middle class. They had highly
Morgan,
educated.
I had to cut you off. Can you cut through it?
What she found out is that the results were disastrous. And it's not just the immediate results. She has what's called sleeper results that years later come up. For 30 years after my parents got divorced, I still felt the effect of it. And I think that in the state of Texas, we are depriving people of due process. We are making divorce way too easy. We're abrogating constitutional protections that they should have. And so I came down here. My stepson is in ICU right now, and I should be up there. But I said, this is so important. I will be down here because I want to see this no-fault divorce repealed in the state of Texas.
Well, thank you for coming. Any questions, members of Mr. Morgan? Mr. Morgan, thank you for being here.
Thank you.